welcome to the Central Avenue Jazz Festival.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm honored. I want to start by just saying how much I adore all of you and the music you produce, the music you perform, the music that you inspire in people. Mr. Bohannon, you are a master teacher. I'm at UCLA and I know who you are. I know your music. I've been listening to you on the way even here to this interview. I'd like to start by just saying thank you for being here. And what does this festival mean to Los Angeles?
It really represents the community and the music. I mean, for years, Central Avenue's got the wonderful name because all of the greats came through Central Avenue. I mean, I moved here late. I'm from back east. I'm from Detroit. But I moved here late, but I began to do the Central Avenue Festival with sometime with Buddy Collette, and then I've done it with Gerald Wilson, certainly. And then I became a regular with Ernie Andrews, my man. And just to see, I mean, those are generational, just generations of music. And it's still, this is so important because every time I go to Central Avenue, I meet a whole new bunch of musicians that I've never seen. Yeah. I mean, this is a big city, and that's what's so wonderful about Central Avenue because you see all age groups. Certainly, I'm a senior there, yeah. But I see the young teenagers coming up, and that's wonderful because it makes me know the music is alive and well. They're tracing the lineage of the music, and they're playing it the way it's supposed to be played, and that's exciting to me. That's the most exciting thing because you don't hear it on the radios or normally you hear it on public radio or specialty radio stations, but when I grew up, you heard it everywhere. You could walk down the street, it's coming out of the pool halls.
Right.
Jukeboxes are playing, and you heard all of it. That's how I became a musician, walking to school and hearing trombone players come in out of just the little small stores on the corner.
Yeah.
Everywhere, music. And then everybody in school had an instrument, whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah.
And so it was a wonderful emotional outlet, which it still is. And I think that's missing today, the emotional outlet. We didn't have time to fight. We're carrying an instrument. We better get home and get ready for tomorrow because he's going to challenge me. But Central Avenue reminds me of that. When I go and I see the young people, I see all ethnicities there together, enjoying the music, dancing. It's a party.
Yeah.
But that's what the music is about. It's happy. It's every emotion. But Central Avenue exemplifies that. And that's where I see Central Avenue.
I want to cut to Ryan Porter. And you being the music director for this, I'm really happy you're here. Why don't you introduce the people here with you?
Yeah, I would love to introduce everybody. On my right, we have Brandon Coleman, extraordinary piano player, keyboard player, sound technician. He makes his own sounds. And he makes incredible music. He's going to be featuring some arrangements today. And Tony Scruggs is going to be our... I'm so honored to be up here with her.
The mega talented Tony Scruggs, the singer.
I mean, she is a singer. She sings, She sings.
Musician. That's right.
And it's just amazing. I'm happy. I'm just happy.
Welcome, Tony. Welcome, Brandon.
And then we got Nolan Shaheed,
my
brother.
Legendary. Legendary.
I mean, I've been recording at Nolan's house. Yeah, I mean, over 20 years.
Wow.
And it's just been, he's always had, I consider his house the dream ship. It's just like we go over there, we knock out the dreams, everybody's getting their dreams facilitated and on wax and on tape and in their hard drives. And Nolan's always had the bright spirit. And as long as I've been going to Central Avenue, Nolan's been there. That's been the community, creative community meeting spot. I mean, these guys have helped to carry the lineage over to me. We've got a considerable age gap, and these guys have carried the torch, And
an incredible bit of trivia is that Mr. Shaheed played the first Central Avenue Jazz Festival.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you want to say something about that first experience. I'd love to hear.
I guess it's already been said, but yes, I was very fortunate to be part of the first Central Avenue Jazz Festival. You know, it's a great honor, it was a great pleasure. Yeah. So Central Avenue was great, and it was a fantastic place. And I think that if it didn't, it should really be part of the great history of Los Angeles, because it exemplifies what LA was really all about. It showed the whole thing, the racial division, the racial coming together. It showed everything in Central Avenue and the Jazz Festival.
You know, Tony, I'm a big fan of yours, and you know, you really are a musician's musician.
This is my first time, and it's a dream. Oh my God. I've always been like, oh me, but I've always been on tour in the middle of the summer. So COVID is kind of a blessing and a curse for me, because I've been available for stuff that I'd usually be on the road for. So, and I'm on the road doing things sometimes that I don't necessarily love, because jazz is my heart. That's what I started with, jazz and gospel, a combination, yeah. But yeah, real gospel training. But after a while at gospel, I was like, there's got to be a way to do this without sweating so much and being so loud and so much. This is so much. So then I started kind of, you know, going into jazz, and my dad introduced me to Sarah Vaughan, and she's been my goddess ever since. She's been my North Star. So Sarah led to Ellis, led to Ella, led to Carmen McRae, led to all of them. So I was doing all the research. I was a listener before I was a singer. So that gave me the intellectual side. Gospel gave me the feeling. Jazz gave me the intellect, and I just been running ever since with both. And it's carried me through all of my pop gigs, Lord. They pay the bills, thank God. I'm thankful for them all. But this is what I love, and this is what I call love of the game gig. So this is one of them gigs that I'll take a chicken plate and $20. I would, because this is just love of the game. I love being here. It's an honor, seriously. Glad to be here, thank you.
I've played, I think the first time I played the Central Avenue Jazz was with Carmen Lundy. And it had to be, you know, probably 10 years ago. And that was the first time I had been to the, you know, the Central Avenue Jazz. I didn't even know it existed, you know, till that moment, you know. And yeah, we had a beautiful set. It was like right in the middle of somewhere where I like remember walking and catching a bus. So it was just, you know, it was kind of a surreal experience. But yeah, and then I've played a couple of times with Ryan. Ryan's always, you know, every time he gets the call, he always calls me. I think we played there with Kamasi maybe once or twice. I think I did it with my band, I think, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, right, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
definitely been here a couple of times.
So what would you like to say? Is there anything that you want to say about this experience and the Central Avenue experience, Ryan, any?
Man, you know what? When Ryan, when he just gave me an initial call that we were going to do this gig, I told him, I was like, man, we should do something really special, something where we bring in the new school with the old school.
There it is.
Something where we can have something where we can trace back the lineage, so people can see where we came from.
There it is.
And where we're at. You know, and I wanted to, you know, I felt like, I told him we should try to do something spiritual too. I feel like everybody needs like a spiritual kind of awakening, you know? So I was like, we should figure out some music that kind of like talks to people's soul, you know? So we curated this set list, you know, specifically for this event. So we're excited to play this music, and, you know.
I'm so happy you're doing that. That's
Yeah.
so great. Ryan, do you want to introduce the musicians that aren't here on stage right now, the musicians
yeah.
playing with you?
Absolutely.
Experience?
We got Ian Martin. He's a great bass player, just great person. He is
Toronto.
Canadian.
Right, he's from
He's from Toronto.
But he's adopted in LA. He's adopted by LA.
He is adopted. We've adopted him. And he is also an amazing chef. And he
I know.
sells cheese, vegan cheese. And he has some here, you know, if you guys want to take a little taste. But I feel like I'm doing a commercial for him now. But he's an awesome person, and I'm really excited to have Ian here with us this time. And also we got Jeremy Jeffers.
That's right, transcendent.
And Jeremy Jeffers
right.
is one of the most soulful organ players I know. He usually mainly plays at church because they won't let him go. You know, it's just like, and we went to high school together, me and Jeremy, and he actually plays trumpet. You know, so we connected on the brass.
Multi-hyphenate, yeah.
Yeah, and just an overall good brother, man. So I'm really excited he could be here too. This is actually our first time playing at Central Avenue together.
Oh, beautiful.
And we, like we said, we put this music together, and just every time we get together, it's been great. So And of course, George, I didn't mention him, but when you told me, you know, we give him a third go around,
Yeah,
George Bohannon. And Lyndon Rochelle. Lyndon Rochelle
That's right.
is our drummer for the
Incredible
night.
drummer, that's
and
right.
you've seen him, yeah,
And
give him a
musician,
hand.
Right.
He's a native of LA, you know, and so is Jeremy. And Lyndon's played with Esperanza Spalding and with some of the best, and it's definitely, I think he went to Berkeley. Yeah, so he's educated, you know, and just another good brother, man. We got all good people here on the show. I mean, it's all good vibes, so you're gonna hear it coming through the music too. So I'm excited for you guys to hear that music and get a taste of this good energy.
Okay, you know, I think one thing that is very important to know about the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, all about Central Avenue, period. Yeah, is that Central Avenue is not just a fluke or just a thing. You know, LA has actually produced more great jazz musicians than any other place in the world. They go to New York, you know, because, New York is where everybody gets together and formulates the music. But you can start from like 1921 with our great musicians who were born in that period of time, and they were here in LA. I mean, I can name, and I have a list that I was compiling of the greatest musicians that came out of LA, you know, that moved to New York or stayed here, but or moved to New York and came back here. Marshall Royal, you know, Dexter Gordon, you know, I mean, there's Billy Higgins, Bobby Hutcherson, Harold Lance, so many great musicians, and Central Avenue was not just a fluke. Central Avenue was great. We had a hotel here where people can come and socialize and stay. We had clubs up and down the street. We had a whole community of jazz that was created here, and it was great. It grew up here, and it was fantastic right here in Central Avenue. And what a lot of people didn't know, which is funny because a lot of the old guys were telling me that a lot of the great Hollywood movie stars, you know, that wanted to dig jazz, but it wasn't socially acceptable, but they can come down to Central Avenue and be obscure and hang out with the cats and dig some jazz, you know, and there was no one to, you know, take pictures of them and no one to make them feel like they were out of their era. I wish that it could have continued the way that it was going, but the world was changing and integration was coming in, to the forefront. And so we decided to basically to kind of let our thing go, and I think it was kind of a shame. You know, there's two things that I really dig that exemplifies jazz in this country. One is I really dig mariachi. I'm a trumpet player. I really like mariachi. And I really like zauli. If you don't know what zauli is, don't worry about it. It's from there, check it out. It's from, it's a dance form that is only in one part of the world. It's the most difficult dance form ever. Okay, now, mariachis. You will never ever see a mariachi band that wasn't 100% Mexican. Okay? Okay, and you would never see a mariachi band that wasn't decked out in beautiful, beautiful garb. They have the silver, they got the sombreros, they got they would never wear tennis shoes or jeans or T-shirts, you know, because they respected their music, and the music is sacred to their society. And if you ever check out Zauli dance, you will see the same thing. It's only performed by a guy who studies for years and years and years and years. One guy. And he does this thing, and he wears a garb that you wouldn't believe. Just Google Zauli. And it's fantastic. I think the problem that we have is that jazz has always been innovated by young black musicians. And when young black musicians decided that it wasn't sacred, and that it wasn't part of the cultural heritage of their people, all of a sudden it started to become more secular. And we didn't appreciate it, and people didn't appreciate it because we didn't appreciate it. And now jazz is performed not on that high level that it was back when Central Avenue was great. It's performed at another level, the American level. Everybody's a star, everybody's a winner. But
It's a good point. That when you look at pictures of Central Avenue, you notice there's a particular respect on both sides of the stage.
Right, that's
You know,
true.
The people in the audience are there, and
And they're dressed up.
meaningful for them.
Right,
Right.
They're dressed
yeah.
up, you know.
Right, yeah.
They're dressed up,
Very
and they really respect, and the audience can tell you, everybody who's on stage, their heritage, what they've done, everything. You know, it wasn't just, I'm gonna come and dig some jazz, it's I'm gonna come dig Dexter Gordon, because I know this guy, I know his sister, you know, I know his brother, I know, you know, and everybody was like really cool until something happened and we started to not respect it as much as we used to. So the Central Avenue Jazz thing, hopefully, will allow people to appreciate the origin of jazz, you know, in Los Angeles, and be able to appreciate what we have accomplished. And I think I've talked too much already.
No, that's fine.
That was great, man.
Brian, do you want to talk a little bit about the repertoire and a little bit about what you're presenting for Central Avenue?
Well,
Hold the mic to you.
no, that's fine.
Well, we are doing a premiere, and Brandon is going to premiere 2 of his new arrangements of some great gospel music. One of which is "We've Come This Far by Faith," and Tony is going to be our featured vocalist there, and this is a powerhouse song. I'm not ready for what's going to happen. You know, it's going to be great. And "Be Grateful" is another arrangement by Brandon Coleman, which Tony is featured, and it's both just moving pieces, you know. Then we were doing a tribute to Curtis Fuller. You know, we lost Curtis almost about a month and a half ago, and George and Curtis grew up together, you know, and we're gonna do one of Curtis's songs called "Arabia" today, where George is gonna be our featured there, and "Tones for Jones Bones" is gonna be played by Nolan Shahid today, and that's a great chick. We lost Chick Corea just recently too, and he's such a stellar musician. So we'll be doing light tributes all day, tributes and features and premieres. That's the name of the game today. Yeah. And then I got some new music today that I wrote just while I was in quarantine, and I'm really happy to be presenting it today. So, yeah. Hey, thank you so much. And this is I'm gonna be thinking about this in 3-4 days. I'm in shock. I'm just like, yeah, no, this is great, man. So, you know, I'm really excited for you guys to see the show and for us to be having this opportunity. So this is gonna be great. I'm excited.
So what I'd like to ask, or let me say it this way, Central Avenue Jazz Festival has always had integrity with the art form. It's always done jazz. A lot of festivals sometimes kind of veer off, detour, not making them wrong, but I just love that about the Central Avenue Jazz Festival. I'd love to know, you know, how we can continue doing that type of thing, and what are some of the thoughts you have around the future for the Central Avenue Jazz Festival and kind of bringing that integrity to the music, to the art form?
Well, for one, I think kind of doing what we're doing, essentially, you know, kind of infusing, you know, the lineage, the history with this new school. You know, I feel like, you know, people interpret music a lot different than how we even grew up, you know, so I feel like there's room for growth in that sense, you know, to keep the doors open for, you know, this new generation that's playing jazz, you know, so they have a pathway to be able to get to where we at, you know. So Ryan and I can be sitting on the other side, you know. That's gonna be Ryan and I sitting over there. I'm gonna have a trumpet. Most people don't know I actually started on trumpet. No, well, you did too. I mean, I just put it down. I didn't. I didn't let it, you know. But I did start on trumpet, you know, and my mom was like, okay, I think an organ is in your life, brother. I don't know. But, you know, yeah, I think there's plenty of room, you know, especially with this festival. You know, you made a good point in terms of, you know, the quality of this music always being at the Central Avenue. You know, we always knew we could get some really quality jazz, you know, from all the real cats, you know. As opposed to some of those other festivals that we talk about that say they're jazz festivals, and then you don't hear a lick of jazz. I'm like, can I get a bebop line? Can I just get one riff? Just give me one bebop riff in B flat. Just give me one. No, but yeah. So I don't know if I answered any part of that question, but
I think also jazz has a rich history in incorporating what's happening now. And I think that we are missing a component of what's happening now in jazz. And I think that if we can incorporate what the kids are doing, I know it's kind of lacking. I know that it is. But I think there's a way for us to incorporate it and add our jazz so we can kind of lure them in and we can keep them in with the traditional and the, you know, the straight ahead, the bebop, the standards and stuff like that. I really think, yeah.
And just to her point, I think also making sure the spiritual aspect is in the music, because I feel like that's kind of been removed somehow. Somewhere in the last 50 years, like the spiritual aspect, especially when we're talking about Black American music, it's like that has kind of been removed from what we are. So I feel like we're kind of, you know, we're working in that place to kind of bring the spirit back to music, you know? Is that good, Nolan? Okay, I was just... You know, if Nolan says it's good. I just got to double check.
Mr. Bohanna, do you want to say something to that too? I know you've been an instructor, a teacher, an inspiration for so many students. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, you know, I'm just listening and I'm thinking the music is still alive and well, and these younger people make that evident, you know. I've known Ryan since he was a little guy. I mean, he was a little guy. His mother used to bring him over with that big trombone case. But now Ryan is doing what I would do. He's giving back. He's going back to the places that he had studied or gone to school, and he's working with the students, you know, and he's letting them know where the music came from, you know, because a lot of the younger generation think they created it. They, you know, it's all been here, you know, and we pull from the same source, as Brandon mentioned, the spiritual source. And that is so important that they can keep that spiritual connection, because the younger people, you know, I listen to all kinds of music. I have to be involved in all kinds of music, because when I meet a young person, I don't tell him what he has to play. He got to tell me what he wants to play, you know. But I can show him how to get there if he's willing to go that direction, and it's work. It's work, you know. As someone, you know, they mentioned the fact that I was self-taught. I was, mainly because when I grew up, we didn't have any money for any lessons. I heard the trombone in a sanctified church, and when the Spirit hit me that day, I said, I got to do that. I cried. I didn't know what was happening to me. I told my dad, I want one of those horns. I said, Dad, these guys are pumping these horns. I can pump, you know, but they were pumping. And that horn, you know, it almost broke up a happy family, because my mother wanted someone to know you for the kitchen floor. And he couldn't do both. But I begged, and I got that horn. And that horn in Detroit got me to meet all of the finer musicians, the Barry Harrises, the Tommy Flanagans, the Jones brothers, and all of those, Hugh Lawson and Frank Gant, all of these wonderful players who encouraged me. I'd go to hear them, they say, man, get your horn. I said, what? No. Get your horn and come on up here. And then I learned tunes from them, the way the masters played it. I didn't have a real book, you know, have any kind of books to look at. We just had to depend on our ear. And so it was a wonderful place to grow up, because it was not a competition. Me and Curtis Fuller just were friends. I mean, we played at a club, we alternated. you know, I'd be there for a week, and then Curtis would come in. There was a place called Levert's. And I'd go there, and Levert say, "Oh, man, Curtis killed him last week. I don't know what you going to do, man." I said, "Man, what, I'm ready to go." And I'm talking to Curtis. He said, "Man, Levert told me you killed him in there last week." But it was wonderful because it was such a healthy situation. We really wanted to keep the integrity of the music, you know, and we all love J.J. Johnson, and we like Rossellino. He grew up with us and all. But it's just wonderful when you have access to the lineage, because you know you're on track, because you can really get sidetracked out there. A lot of musicians have gotten sidetracked who could really be good musicians, but they say, "Well, I can make $1 doing this." Yeah, you can, but you can make $1 million doing this forever. And so, you know, Central Avenue is wonderful, and I love it. I played with Ernie Andrews. I say I became a regular with him. Ernie, I love that brother because he's a true jazz singer. He's sharp all the time, like you mentioned the dress. He don't dress like Nolan, but but who does? I love this brother. I love all of these. Brandon played with me at Bones and Blues. He was a young cat, man. He came in just with a trio. We had a ball. He jumped all into some of my original music and stuff. And then, you know, but he's so broad. I mean, he can play that. He can play the funk thing. He can write spirituals. I mean, these brothers here are really talented. I mean, super talented. So I'm just happy that I still can be a part of the group, you know. But they have been wonderful gentlemen. I'm so happy to know them. I respect them for the way they approach the music and the seriousness that they put into it, the time they put into rehearsing and making sure things are right. And it's a serious business for them. Yeah. Okay.
Ryan, I'm going to leave it to you. Any last words, anything you want to say about the Central Avenue experience?
Well, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Jose, and I want to say thank you to Carlos and everybody who helped with just getting us here and making this happen and making the festival happen. You know, Dexter's story, you know, Andrea, Mo, everybody involved with making this just happen was just, I couldn't be more grateful. Yeah, that's why we're doing Be Grateful. You're gonna hear Be Grateful. Hey, thank you.